going to start our recording so that we can send it out to folks who weren't able to attend but wanted to be able to attend. My name is Alexis Miller. I'm a senior outreach specialist at Solar United Neighbors. I'm over our Atlantic Southeast region, so Virginia, Maryland, DC, and Florida. Super excited to be with you all tonight at our April Solar Action Team meeting. We've been having a lot of fun getting these going monthly for all of our Virginia supporters. Excited to talk more about our co-ops and ways that folks can help support those and building more solar in their communities. I will let my coworker Ben introduce himself, and then we're going to do some quick breakout rooms for you guys to chat with each other for a minute.
Hey everybody, thanks Alexis. Benjamin Hoyne here with Solar United Neighbors Program Associate for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thrilled to have you all here as I think this is meeting number three for our Solar Action Team. We're excited to talk about all things solar co-ops today. And I think next month we've got some exciting stuff, next few months, exciting stuff coming up. So again, I kind of do everything and anything in Virginia, mostly focused around our program work, which is our co-ops, and which is really helping people go solar. And then also our policy and advocacy work, primarily at the state capitol in Richmond, but also at various jurisdictions, whether that's localities or building codes or what have you. So great to be here.
Buffalo Trace? No, sir.
Thanks, Ben. And I'm going to open some breakout rooms for everyone to join and have about 2 minutes for you to meet someone else who's on the call. So if you just want to share with the other person in the breakout room your name, where you're joining from, and your background working with sun and or interest in solar, just to meet some other folks on the call. So I will open those up now, and it should now give you the option to join a breakout room. So if you just click on joining that, you'll be joining with another 1 or 2 people for you to meet, and we'll join back in about 2 minutes. You two that are still in here, feel free to take yourself off mute and introduce yourselves if you're wanting to, or feel free to join the breakout room or drop into the chat if that's easier for you. I'm happy to read those out. I'm just going to be writing down our folks that are here, and then we'll bring everyone back in about a minute.
Hey, Lean, good to see you.
Hi, Ben. How are you? And Alexis, I see Alexis too. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. It's been too long. How are you doing?
Good, good. How's the baby?
Good. Yeah, she's so good. Hopefully you can't hear her being put to bed right now, but you know how that goes.
Hey, if you're getting to put her to bed at this time, that's really good.
I mean,
right, Ben?
it's maybe wishful thinking, but we always try to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you can do it.
Yeah, we're always like, the earlier the better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna close
Lana
out
was
the
just
room.
giving me some food, so she saw your name on the screen. So she says,
Tell her I said hi. Haven't seen her. How on and the girls? Everybody doing good?
doing well. We're
Good,
surviving.
good.
How about you? How you doing?
Good, good, good. Just same thing. Just I feel like I'm constantly putting out fires, but everything good.
All right, I'm gonna eat some food here momentarily off camera.
Enjoy.
Welcome everyone coming back from the breakout rooms. Hope you were able to connect with someone else on the meeting. And again, super excited to have everyone here with us tonight for a quick agenda of what to expect from the meeting. We're going to have Ben give a quick legislative update for everyone, and then we're going to dive into chatting more about co-ops and solar. So talking a little bit about why we do co-ops, what are the co-ops that we have happening right now, and then I'm going to talk about some ways that you can help volunteer with helping to spread the word about co-ops, and then we will wrap up after that. We're super open to any questions or comments, so feel free to unmute yourself and join in on this discussion or add any comments into the chat. And with that, Ben, are you good if I turned over to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Alexis. And once again, thanks everyone for joining. So just a real brief legislative update. I know we kind of focus on the Richmond or the Virginia General Assembly a bit in our previous meetings. Just kind of a quick reset for everyone. So the Virginia General Assembly generally meets in the wintertime, January, February, maybe into early March. It's done that. And then the governor has about 30 days to act on legislation. And so that has just recently taken place. And I think it was a week ago that 30 days hit. And then the General Assembly will come back next week, next Wednesday, I believe, to what is known as reconvene session or veto session, where they will take up any vetoes or amendments on legislation. So that's kind of the regular General Assembly. Two bills of note that we've mentioned in the past that both have been signed by the governor, so no vetoes, no amendments. One exempts solar arrays under 25 kilowatts from property taxes. So what that basically means is your property taxes cannot go up due to your solar system. I guess alternatively, your property taxes could not go down due to your solar system as well. So just more or less solar arrays are exempt, again, under 25 kilowatts, which is more or less usually a residential size system. And that'll start January 1st of next year. So in essence, next tax year. So that passed. And then in the rural electric cooperative territory, a bill that we worked on a bit with Senator Lewis and Delegate Head for the RECs, the rural electric cooperatives. It would increase both the net metering cap and the ability to have power purchase agreements or PPAs in rural electric co-op territory. So two kind of good things to help potentially increase solar. So again, this is not Dominion territory or Appalachian Power territory, but Rappahannock and Botetourt and the Eastern Shore and all the, I think, 13 or so rural electric cooperatives that we have here in Virginia. So that's regular General Assembly, regular session. We are actually in a special session right now, and that is because the budget has not been agreed to. So normally that would happen in regular session, but they just haven't been able to work out the kinks between the various chambers. No telling on when that will happen. I think everybody would like it to happen by next Wednesday when they come back anyways to work on the other bills. Remains to be seen, maybe even doubtful that the budget will be ready by then. For procedural reasons, it would pretty much need to be ready by this weekend. It has to have kind of 48 hours of notice. So they pretty much have to get it done this weekend. Haven't heard anything that they will, although I guess it's only Tuesday. There's also about 20 pieces of legislation swirling around that were also carried over along with the budget. None of those are residential solar. There might have been some utility scale solar stuff, but nothing that we're really focused on. So again, the two main bills we kind of were tracking have passed and been signed. They'll go in effect. One goes in effect, the rural electric cooperatives goes in effect July 1, and then the tax exemption bill goes in effect January 1, 2023. And then the budget's the other big one, right? Lots can happen in the budget. We could talk about that for an hour, but we haven't seen, an agreement. So until that comes, no sense in talking about what could be. So that's pretty much the legislative update. Happy to take any questions, but again, we're not trying to spend too much on that. Or if folks want to put it in the chat, I can certainly do that as well. All right. Well, with that, we will move on to the bulk of our program here, which is to talk about solar cooperatives and solar champions. And Alexis is really going to be leading a lot of this meeting, but I did want to kind of talk about our co-ops. We pretty much have 3 co-ops happening this year, at least as of this moment. And we have one that's pretty much wrapping up. It's closed. That's in the Richmond area, Central Virginia area, where we're going to have over 20 folks that are signing contracts with a solar installer. It's actually Convert Solar, who's based out of Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, but has an office here in Richmond. So that's kind of wrapping up. We have another co-op in Arlington in Northern Virginia that just launched on April 1st. And that'll be open kind of through the summer. And then we have a co-op in Hampton Roads that will open June 1st and go to early fall. So those are the kind of the 3 main ones. So, obviously Northern Virginia, Richmond, Central Virginia, and Hampton Roads, kind of the major population centers. Always looking for other opportunities to do co-ops. This year, we've also launched something called 8 Weeks to Solar, which is a pilot project we're doing, which is not a co-op, but it has a lot of similarities to co-ops. We're rolling that out in the Shenandoah Valley to see if some of these kind of smaller, less densely populated areas, if that might be a better model for some of those regions. So I know Alexis has a presentation she's going to go into, and I'll let her take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I dropped into the chat the links for folks if you're interested in joining any of those co-ops, and we're happy to answer any questions about those. But we do have upcoming information sessions where if you don't already have solar, you can feel free to join those and learn more about Solar 101 and joining our co-ops. This book of our presentation will be about how to spread the word about co-ops and what other folks in your community know about co-ops. So thanks for sharing that background, Ben, on what we have going on. And then I'm going to dive right into it. Again, we want this to be interactive, so please feel free to unmute yourself, stop me. I have some questions and things built in, but want to hear folks' thoughts. So feel free to drop those into the chat or unmute yourself, whatever you are most comfortable with. So hopefully everyone can see my screen. I'm going to dive into it. And 1 second. So kicking it off, we're going to be talking, as I mentioned, about how to spread solar in your community and want to think about why this is important. Why do we need solar ambassadors in our community and solar community members such as yourself to help build the solar movement in your community? So I'd love to have folks drop into the chat. Who are the people do you trust? Is it salespeople, Solar United neighbors, your friends, your family, your colleagues? Who are the people that you generally trust for information? Come on, it's an easy question, guys.
My friends.
Yes, love that. Son, thanks. We love that too. Totally. So it's the people, yeah, my friends and son. I appreciate the shout outs, neighbors with solar, exactly. We trust the people that we know and that we know we can rely on. So there's a well-documented study that has showed that when solar panels get installed on one roof in a neighborhood, it's much more likely that neighbors and other homeowners in the area will install solar panels. And especially the closer the neighbors, the bigger the effect is. And so when someone hears about solar from a neighbor or a friend, family member, they're much more likely to install solar and to be interested. And it just has much more of an impact than, say, a staff person does. And also, as Solar United neighbors, we're community driven and want to have community members be a part of the process. So it is super important to us to work together with communities as we build the solar movement. So I want to set a reminder at the start of this that you don't need to be a solar expert to be spreading the word about solar or about solar co-ops. You don't even need to have solar on your rooftop to be able to do that. I don't have solar on my rooftop, but you can still be passionate about it and still spread the word. So it's just important to have your key things that you want to talk about and your reasons for why you support solar. And here are some thoughts to share, but you can feel free to change them, add on to your own story for why solar is important to you. Solar helps the economy, the environment. Solar helps save you money. Solar creates energy independence. If any folks want to drop into the chat their reasons for supporting solar, that's great for you to be able to pick up from each other, but it's just coming up with your own reasons why solar is important to you. And now diving into the ways that you can do this, I just want you to, as we're going through this presentation, think about the actions that you personally can take that would have the most impact in your community, your area, with your friends and family. We all have different communities that we're involved in and different things that make sense for our lifestyle and the communities that we live in. So we'll run through some ideas, but please feel free to share any other ideas or thoughts that you have. We're definitely open to creativity and flexibility within that. So some of the quick and easy ways that you can spread the word, we do have a toolkit, and I'll drop into the chat. I like that David said, it adds value to your home and offsets future energy price increases, which is a great reason to support solar. So some of the easy ways that you can help spread the word about a co-op or about solar in your community is posting on social media online. We have a toolkit that we'll drop into the chat that gives you some easy language that's templated out for you to be able to use. So makes it super simple for you to be able to just post easily on that, or a community calendar, listservs, email groups, or like blurbs and community newsletters if there's specific newsletters to your community that they use to spread the word about upcoming events or community activities. Another easy way is just to invite your friends and family to the co-op, and this can be simple as like a call, email, or text. I think sometimes the hardest part about connecting with others about an issue we think about is just taking a few minutes to think through who are the people that would be interested in that, and then just doing it. So I wanted to just give people like 30 seconds to think about 3 friends or family members that you would be interested in connecting with about a co-op. And just, I'll give you 30 seconds to think of some people that would make sense to spread the word to. Okay, hopefully you guys have got some people in mind. And again, we have language that you can use to help with that outreach. But that's an easy way to just spread your impact 3 times with that. Sharing with your work colleagues and friends. So this would be putting a flyer up in a break room or another common place at your office, or if you work virtually, a lot of companies I know, we work a lot on Slack or have like a virtual newsletter that you could put announcements in, all of that obviously pending on if it's acceptable by your work or the company that you work for. There's also flyering. So this would be identifying local locations that would make sense to distribute to. We have seen success with putting these up at local businesses or community centers, grocery stores, local libraries, different things like that. If anyone has any other places that they've done that in the past, feel free to drop those into the chat, or like churches, colleges, local gyms, things like that are great spots just to help spread the word. Or putting a yard site up at your home. We are happy to give folks these if they're interested in having one, or at your business if you own a business that would be willing to have one of these up that just says go solar with our community, or go solar with our neighborhood co-op. So if anyone is interested in those, Ben has plenty at his house that I'm sure he'd be happy to get rid of some for. So feel free to drop in the chat if you're interested in that, or contact us after, and we're happy to get one to you. Then these are some opportunities that take a little more time, maybe 1 to 3 hours a month, depending on the activity. And so tabling is the first one. Some folks have maybe already done this. I know Eileen has participated in events like this with us in the past, but being a volunteer at a table that we have at a local event. So it might be like a farmer's market, or upcoming, we have some Earth Day events. So like this gentleman here, being at the table where folks can come up and chat with you, chat about solar, learn about the co-op, or other opportunities. We have a training, so you'd be able to, if you were needing some more knowledge beforehand, we're happy to provide you with some information to be able to learn more before, so you feel prepared. But it's a fun way to be able to get out in the community and chat with others. We have these 2 upcoming events, Earth Day this week, as well as a movie screening happening. We do have some volunteers participating that may be on the call, and if anyone else is interested in participating, feel free to let us know. It's always the more the merrier with those type of events, but it's fun to be able to get out in the community and share the word. Another opportunity is to be a solar ambassador in upcoming information session. So I mentioned our Solar 101 information sessions. So those are intro sessions for our co-ops where folks can learn more about solar. And it's great for us to be able to have someone who has gone solar either through the co-op, or even if you haven't gone solar through the co-op, it's just great to have someone put a face to solar and make it real for others. And you can share your story, just say the process for you with going solar and how it's been for you since having solar on your roof, and then just be there to answer questions for folks. Right now we have our info sessions are all virtual, so it makes it easy. You can attend one for Hampton Roads just as easily if you're in Northern Virginia or wherever, but we do we'll likely have in-person info sessions at some point. So we have solar ambassadors come to those as well. We have a list that we just keep of folks who are interested in doing that and reach out to them as we schedule information sessions. So if folks are interested in that, we'll do a survey at the end of this so you can say what kind of things that you're interested in, but you're also welcome to drop it in the chat and I'll keep track of folks that way as well. But it's a fun way for you to be able to just share more about your solar journey and connect with others who might have questions. And some other thoughts, writing an LTE, a letter to the editor. We have actually a national level training on a letter to the editors coming up in May that everyone will get an invite to, so you can attend that if you haven't wrote an LTE in the past, as well as helping with helping with recruiting additional volunteers or researching partners. We use partners as a great way to help spread the word about co-ops and spread the impact of co-ops. So if you know of any groups that you think might be interested in partnering with the co-op, basically they help to spread the word, and we in exchange put their logo on all of our information so they're able to get the word out about them as well. Then you can feel free to do some research on that and do some outreach around that. And again, we have materials to help with that. Tyson put in the chat, what's an LTE? And yeah, sorry, I should have spelled that out, but it's a letter to the editor. So writing that in response, oh, Ben's adding that in. So we do have a training all about that. So Tyson, we can invite you to it. They're super short and easy to do, but another great way to get the word out. And then another fun thing is to reach out to your local leaders, whether that be government or community leaders, and inviting them to events or having them seeing if you can get them to share things on their social media to be able to boost out to the people that are on their list. And I'm trying to see if I see any familiar faces of people who've attended our trainings on this in the past, but another fun thing is to do a mini Solar 101. So if you're super passionate about solar technology and that side of things, you can attend one of our Solar 101 trainings where you learn how to do a miniature version, like a short or 20-ish minute presentation on Solar 101 that you can give to like a neighborhood association meeting or local community groups, a gardening club, things like that, that might be interested in learning more about the co-op or learning more about solar, but we don't necessarily have the staff capacity to be at all of those. Ben doesn't want to or doesn't have time to be on meetings at all times. So just helping to be able to spread the word when we don't have people to be in all those places at once. So we have upcoming trainings on that where you can participate and be able to learn a little bit more that way and just be able to expand your knowledge and then share the knowledge that you have. And then, so that's like all the lists of all the things, but what if you're thinking, oh, Ben was just talking about the co-ops and where they're located and there's not any coming up near me. So what do I do? And we actually have great resources about spreading great resources to go solar on your own. So you can still spread the word and we're happy to guide folks through going solar on your own. So I can drop into the chat that information as well, but you can still spread the word with that guidance, and it's still helpful for you to be able to share your story no matter where you're located, as well as helping to lay the groundwork. Ben mentioned we love to be able to build solar wherever we can in the state, so helping to lay the groundwork for future co-ops that can look like helping us to build partners and get funding for certain areas and things like that. So if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to us. For folks who attended our last Solar Action Team meeting, we had Jeff from Give Solar, and he has some help for helping low to moderate income projects. So if you're interested in doing that, you could do that in your area, as well as advocacy support. We're always working on building our ground level support for that, and we will be having a training in June. The Solar Action Team meeting will be on that. So look forward to that and the next steps on doing that. But there's definitely always opportunities and ways that you can be involved, whether there's an open co-op in your area or not. So how do you want to be involved? I'm going to drop into the chat. 1 second. I'm going to stop my screen so it's easier for me to see this, but I'm going to drop into the chat for folks who are interested in helping. Those opportunities are all available, and fill out this survey to be able to let us know what kind of things that you might be interested in doing, and then I can follow up individually with you on that. So I'm just checking the chat to see if there's anything that I was missing. But if you all want to take like 2 minutes to do that, and then we'll go over if folks have any questions or thoughts or feedback, and we can go from there. I see Tyson's interested in getting a sign. Yeah, Eileen, feel free to chat.
I have a quick question. Are y'all signed up for Dory Park Farmers Market?
I know, because we have been at that before with you. We don't have it right now just because the Richmond Co-op is closing. I don't know, Ben, if you know the date, but it's closing relatively soon. And that would be like what that would be targeting. So I don't think we are right now. Ben,
So they open up in June. They'll be June, July, and August. Through October, June through October.
Gotcha.
So just keep it in mind in case it opens up, because they do have tables still available.
Oh yeah, that would be great. It's always good, even if we don't have a co-op open, if we have volunteers that are interested,
Yeah.
it's still a great opportunity to just spread the word and get folks interested. So
Yeah,
that's
let me
great.
know. I can help with one of those.
Oh, awesome. Okay, I'm putting you down for that.
Okay.
Dave, I see your question. What we can have Ben chat about that in a second after we finish up this. We can chat into some other discussion topics if we have time.
Yeah, and so Tyson and I have been chatting about signs potentially in DC. So we have an office in DC in DuPont Circle. I just need to check and see if they have any signs there. Now, while we're at it, I'll put in a plug on Sunday, May 22nd. So in just over a month, the Sunday before Memorial Day, we'll be having a celebration for Northern Virginia, various co-ops that have not celebrated over the last several years, and some legislative successes, etc. We will certainly have signs at that event as well, but yeah, we might be able to get some this week if we have some at our office in DC. But also, again, not only just for signs on May 22nd, but encourage anyone that is in Northern Virginia to come to that event. It'll be in Arlington and Crystal City on Sunday afternoon. We'll send stuff out from like 3 to 6. Buy a beer, and there'll be some appetizers and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. I'm just going to drop the survey again into the chat for folks who might have missed it, and then I will open it up to questions, whether that be related to co-op, since we're in the word about that, or Ben, if you're open to other questions, it looks like there might be some other questions as well. So we can go from there.
As far as the future of the SREC, just for folks that don't know, an SREC is a solar renewable energy credit. What this is that when you get a solar system installed, you generate renewable energy, and that actually has a value because of laws that have passed in Virginia and in some other states, but specifically a law passed in Virginia that Virginia must generate, Dominion and other utilities must generate a certain amount of renewable energy every year as they increase their renewable energy targets. And so Dominion can, in essence, and other utilities can buy renewable energy from, a utility solar farm or a wind farm or what have you. They can actually buy your solar energy and count it as renewable energy that they've generated. And so obviously what you generate, what I generate in my house is much smaller than what a solar farm would generate, but it does have value because it has to be for this law in Virginia, it has to be generated in Virginia specifically. And so for every 1,000 kilowatt hours, I believe, or maybe it's 1,000 megawatt hours that you generate, you get a credit, kind of like a voucher that you can go trade in the market like you would, on Wall Street or what have you. Depending on the size of your system, you probably generate about 1 to 1.5 SRECs per kilowatt a year. So an average residential system might be 10 kilowatts, let's say. And so you might generate 10 to 12, maybe 14 SRECs per year. And in Virginia, the SRECs, you have a variety of options you can choose. You can kind of play the market and see where they're at. I think recently they've been trading around $60. So, imagine if you had 10 or 15 per year, you're talking $600, $900, somewhere in that range. So, something not a ton of money, but something you can certainly do something with. You could also just get a lump sum payment up front. I think that's more in the $35 or $40 range. And we have a whole webinar on SRECs, all sorts of stuff. The certificate is, in essence, there's third-party verifications because your system's connected to the grid and connected to the meter. So it's whoever you would sign up to with a broker, in essence, an SREC broker. And there's like 3 different companies in Virginia that do this, to our knowledge. They're all listed on our website. And you sign up with them and they have access to your solar array. It's based on production. So, actual amount that it's generating, not on what it should or whatnot. So, and it's usually on a quarterly basis. They'll sell SRECs. And so I have a small system. I got about a 5 kW system. So 1 to 2 SRECs per quarter. So for me, I might get $100 a quarter, $120 a quarter, something like that. So again, it's a little bit of money. It helps out. Whereas in like the District of Columbia, because there's no space for solar farms, for utility scale, SRECs are over $300 per SREC. But it's also a lot more expensive to install solar in DC. So as Alexis mentioned and put in the chat, there's a whole bunch more you can dive in the rabbit hole of SRECs. But as far as the future or them changing, I haven't heard much. It's like anything in the market, the price is variable. As more solar, more renewable energy comes online, potentially there's more competition for those SRECs, which would then lower the price. But as the years go on, the amount that's needed to generate to meet the standard of the law increases. So basic economics 101 is more renewable energy coming online faster than the targets go up, and that's what we'll have to see.
Thanks, Ben. Does anyone else have any questions about anything Solar Virginia? We'll see if we can stump Ben. If not, we'll wrap up. I just want to give folks a chance if they do have any questions. Looks like David, Ben, thoughts on, do you see changes in net metering that are being discussed like in Florida and California?
That's a great question. And certainly a question I've asked myself and others. I think the short answer is no. We don't see that. California, as an example, I think is over 30%, closer to 40% penetration on solar. Virginia is about 1%. And so in California, they do have legitimate, challenges to kind of balancing the load on the grid, making sure that the grid can handle solar when it comes on. But solar is obviously intermittent and whatnot. And so there are just challenges with that that they're working through. Florida is a totally different case. Florida, the Sunshine State, doesn't have anywhere near what California has, although it certainly has a significantly more solar than Virginia. We have a program in Florida that was really helping lead the charge against that. I guess technically it hasn't quite been signed by the governor, to my knowledge, unless that happened just this week, where we're still hoping for a veto, working on a veto. And that's really an unfortunate bill where, the utility kind of really came in and had a lot of scare tactics and a lot of campaign contributions, and where they were able to get rid of potentially drastically reduced net metering. I think anybody that follows Virginia politics knows that our utilities like to give campaign contributions as well. So we hope it wouldn't happen. We don't foresee it happening. Not to say, we're taking our eyes off the prize or not, pay attention to it, because I mean, really every state should that has net metering. So we don't foresee it happening, and we're trying to make sure that we would snuff it out before it got very far, if the utilities were interested in that.
Thanks, Ben. I don't think you can see, I think Todd, this went to me, but any information on nonprofits being able to utilize solar in Northern Virginia for organizations, understanding that they have no tax benefit, but economic cost savings.
So you cut out for a second. You say nonprofits going solar?
Yeah,
Northern
and like
Virginia?
religious organizations in Northern Virginia.
I believe there are the most common way for nonprofits to go solar is through a power purchase agreement or a PPA, because they don't have the tax benefit, as you mentioned. And so there are, private organizations that will, in essence, put a solar array on a nonprofit or a church or whatnot, and they will take the tax benefit, and they will, in essence, lease the system to the nonprofit. It's a better deal. It can be a better deal than paying electricity at its standard rate. Not as good of a deal as if you had cash and you were going to go solar on your home. That's kind of standard, right? It's always going to be a better deal. You're going to recoup more money in the long run if you can pay cash. But it can lower your bills. So there are companies out there. I don't know ones that work specifically in Northern Virginia. I know there's one that works in Hampton Roads. We have had some lunch and learns internally at Sun for some kind of more national organizations that are kind of in that space. And I guess if you had a specific nonprofit or church or whatnot that you were interested in that potentially happening, you could certainly get in touch with us, and we could see if we can help facilitate a conversation there.
Thanks. And Jen, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I live in Vienna, Virginia, and I'd be happy to speak locally about solar energy, for example, at the community center. Now, I am aware that there are other initiatives. One is called Solarize Vienna. So my question is that related to your group's activities, or is this a totally separate initiative?
Yeah, so Solarize, two things. One, Solarize can be a general kind of term for what we do. It's a term that's used across the country, in essence, organizing groups of people together to go solar. The specific Solarize that you're talking about, there's a group based out of Charlottesville, Local Energy Alliance, that uses the term Solarize for similar things in Virginia. Most of their groups are focused kind of in the Shenandoah Valley. I know they're doing some stuff in Harrisonburg and Roanoke and Charlottesville. They do work with Fairfax County and the I always forget the names, like the Northern Virginia Regional Commission or something like that. So I guess the short answer is they're a separate group. They're also nonprofit. They do somewhat similar to what we do. I think a couple of the main differences, one is they pre-select the installer. And so it's less of a kind of an interactive group. It's really more of a really a bulk buying group. And like, that's kind of it. Like you sign up and you get the discount and they send you on your way. And they don't, to my knowledge, do things like this. They don't organize advocacy. I don't know that they organize webinars and those kind of things. So their parent company, again, LEAP, is more of an energy efficiency organization. Again, nonprofit. LEAP does good work to my knowledge. So we kind of both have things happening in Northern Virginia. They're not operating in Richmond and Hampton Roads to my knowledge, and they generally stick more to the I-81 corridor. We just both happen to be doing programs in Northern Virginia since it's such a large area. If that
Feel free
makes
to
sense.
unmute. Eileen, you can feel free to chat.
Sorry. I do have a question. If in the groups, for like example, the one now, the capital region area, if there is a group of homeowners that want to go in on the solar, but if there's a small business that also wants to do solar, can they be part of the co-op that way?
Yes, so the co-op is open to small commercial.
Okay.
I don't know that we have a set number. Really, it's something we work more with the installer on. As an example, in Richmond, I believe we do have a small like mechanic shop that is putting on solar. The owner of the shop has solar in his house and wants to put it on, on us. It's like a little 2-story building. So it wouldn't be, a large office building or something like that, but a smaller, a couple of story building certainly would be able to be part of the co-op.
Is there a minimum requirement? Like
For kilowatts?
Uh-huh.
That depends on the installer. I mean, if they're a small business, they're probably fine. We haven't reviewed the bids for Northern Virginia yet. At a minimum, most installers 5 kilowatts and over is no big deal. Some installers will provide an adder where they might charge an upcharge if it's a system like a 3 kW system or something like that. I guess some installers maybe would not work on a tiny system, a 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, but it really just depends on the installer and the bid. But if there was somebody that wanted to go solar as part of the co-op, we would certainly do our best to make sure that they were able to.
And just a quick follow-up on that, we have a developer that here in Verina that we're working with, and we're insisting on then including some of the homes to offer solar. Do y'all ever do anything with, community development type, or with developers that want to offer? Has there been any situation like that?
I don't think so as part of the co-op. We do some, and for everyone's knowledge, I've been on board Sun about 6 months, so still learning some of this, but we do some, I think, kind of consulting work, which sounds like, maybe what you're mentioning, discussing there on developments or large scale projects. I think we really look at it as a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Certainly, Aileen, with your involvement with the organization, I'm sure we'd be happy. That's probably a question for Aaron, the director of Virginia, or some other folks. But
Okay.
I'm sure we'd be happy to talk through that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, it seems like we're at a good stopping point. So we want to thank everyone for joining. And I'm going to drop in the link for our next meeting. As Ben mentioned, we're excited about the stuff we have coming up. We're going to be chatting about EVs next month, EVs and solar. And then the following month be doing an advocacy focused solar action team meeting. So I'm going to drop into the chat the link for that, as well as we will be sending a follow-up email tomorrow with all the links so you can RSVP then as well. And we would love to have folks join us for the Northern Virginia celebration. So I'll drop that in as well. If you're in the area and would like to come, anyone is welcome to join. So thanks everyone again for joining us tonight. We're really excited to have everyone be a part of the group and continue to spread solar throughout Virginia. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, folks.